told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch.
Hi everyone, my name is Kathy.
And I'm Koi, and I am every woman.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you're all doing well. We're all doing fine.
Yes.
We're still tackling this very sensitive topic of female friendships. So today, we will be talking about flags.
Okay.
Red flags and green flags. And there might be some orange flags in there.
Yeah.
But basically, red flags in friendship.
Yeah.
What are the things that we actually flag to be red? And what are the things we say is a green light?
Yeah. So do we start with the greens? Start with the positive?
I think we start with the green.
Or start with the negative and finish with the positive?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're starting with the red.
Yeah.
And then you start.
Okay. So we have some points written down. And my first one is a red one is when you're around a friend and you keep feeling the need to abandon your own needs around them. Like you keep feeling like when you're around them, it's about them, or your needs become smaller. It's about them or the situation, and you cannot express your needs. To me, I feel like friendship should give you a feeling of either you come out, like an engagement with a friend should not feel draining.
Yeah. It's a sharing.
Yeah. You should come back or out of that engagement either feeling better or the same. It shouldn't be draining. So especially if you consistently feel like you need to put your needs aside whenever you're around them, then that's a red flag for sure. Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, my red flag is very similar.
Okay.
I have come across people in my life who just love misery. They just really thrive in misery. And so that's all they seem to want to share.
Yeah.
It's always that bad thing, this bad thing, the other bad thing. Yeah. And then you realize very quickly after every conversation, you are feeling so drained.
Yeah.
Now, at this space in my life, I normally tell my daughter, there are so many bad things in this world, in this life, and there are so many nice things.
Yeah.
It's your choice
to decide.
Yeah, you can choose the bad things. Yeah. It's your choice what you give airtime. The bad things will come, yes, but do you give them airtime? Yeah. And so for me, if a friend is always giving airtime to all the bad things and expecting me to go down that road, always? No. Yeah. That's very draining. Yeah. Yeah, very draining.
But then I wanted to ask you, what do you think about, is there a possibility for such a red flag to be turned green? Is it possible?
I don't know. I don't know. This particular one? I don't know.
Because if they're always complaining or just talking about the negative things that have happened to them or happened to wherever, I think that is somebody who needs to probably do some work because maybe they just see life in a negative way. But obviously it can be draining. But I feel like, what if you brought it up with them?
What if you have brought it up with them?
And they don't change? Okay.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it just boils down sometimes to just choice.
Yeah.
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 If you continue to enjoy choosing bad things, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My second one, my second red flag is if your friend is threatened by your other friends or they feel some sort of way because you have other friends. Yeah. Have you experienced this?
But not in a nasty way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's normal.
Yeah.
When you have a very close friend to you, you don't think about them in the light of, like they have other friends. You see, for example, calling your friend and say, hey, Friday, let's go somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And then they say, no, we're going to so-and-so's house for this. Or this person had already invited me for this. I think it's normal for you to go, I wanted to spend time with them, but, whatever. But, it's not supposed to boil down now to bad feelings and that sort of thing. In fact, a lot of times what has ended up happening is that for friends of mine, their friends eventually become my friends. Because they'll go like, we're just going for I don't know what, come. And then you eventually end up being able to hang around their friends as well.
Well, I haven't had much success in that. I've tried to, blend my circles. I don't know why they don't. Maybe they're just different people. I've not had success in like marrying or gelling two different circles of friends into one. But for me, actually, if my friend has other friends, to me, it's actually a good thing. You know why? Because I like my space. And so if I'm not able to go with them somewhere or be there for them in some way, it's less pressure for me if they actually have like other friends that they can go with. So but in general, if a friend of yours is feeling threatened or is feeling in a negative way, some sort of way about you having other friends, I think that's a red flag. That's a red flag for sure.
And at this age, surely that's not supposed to
we are not about that. Tuna time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my second red flag is a bit cliche.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
It's just the seasonal friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I really dislike it when someone now treats you different based on where you are in life.
Yeah.
And you can clearly tell they treated you different when you were at a different place in life. And this can be economic, but it can also just be mental space. It can also just be relationship status, that sort of thing. Yeah. So you just find like, the treatment is different and it's a pattern. Yeah. It happened the last time this happened. Yeah. Now it's happening again. That's a red flag for me.
Okay. Yeah. I have something to say about that. I agree with some of it, especially the economic one, because they're friends. You can tell that they're just there for you or with like they like hang around with you when you're doing well, right? But then when you talk about the mental, I know that there are days I can't be your friend when you need my emotional space because I don't have. So I feel like with that one especially, sometimes it's also about, do they have the bandwidth really at that point to be your friend? Yeah. Because there are days, honestly, I'm like, my cycle of, what is it called? The circle of life is not balanced. And honestly, at that point, there's something that has to drop. And maybe at that particular time, it's friendship. Yeah. So with that, I've stopped harshly judging my friends. Especially if I'm not quite sure why they were not able to be there for me.
Two things I'm going to tell you. Yeah. The first one is, you see when you say some friends will only be your friends when you're doing well financially? Yes. Some friends, it's the reverse. They're only your friend when you're not doing well.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Yes. There's people who also have what's it called? Savior mentality.
Okay.
And so they need their friends to be at a lower level. Yeah. So they can save them, But therefore, when you start, breaking out and then the friendship becomes strained. It's interesting. Yeah. Human beings are very interesting.
That is a dynamic I actually hadn't thought of. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that. I've lost my train of thought. We're talking about two things.
The economic one and the emotional one. The mental capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see what I mean, huh?
Yeah. And I think just if I can move on to my third one, because it's also kind of loosely related. The third one I have here is they only reach out when they need something. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. I think it's a typical human behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I guess those now, you have to make a decision and decide whether they are truly your friends or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it strains you that much when things like those, because life is a journey. You'll be up, you'll be down, you'll be this, you'll be that. If it's that much of a strain, then I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
For me, it's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have any other?
Yeah.
Red flag?
Your third one?
Yeah, I've done my third.
Okay. This one is a strange one. It might be a little bit specific.
Okay.
I've seen it with just a few
Yeah.
people in my life.
Yes.
There are people in this life, in this world, who actually believe in hierarchy, some sort of a hierarchy.
In what way?
Who make it look like in this group, there has to be some sort of hierarchy, and they base it on, something. Some people will base it on age, and they'll make it look like because I'm older, I'm the one telling you what to do. I'm the one like a de facto leader of sorts. And then the others who believe in terms of money or wealth, if I have this much property, so you're always throwing it out there so that everybody knows. Like I said, it's a very specific thing, but I've met more than one person like that in my life. And I remember going home and thinking to myself, Germany, how did we get here? Surely, you honestly think you can tell me what to do because you have a few more pair of shoes than me? Are you serious? Wow.
Yeah.
But you see, some people fall for it. They actually believe that, all hail the person who has, more, or the person who's older, or the person who's this, or the person who's more outspoken.
Yeah.
It's...
I mean, me personally, I can't relate. You know why? Because by the time we're getting there, you're definitely not my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will not allow myself to be in a situation that I call friendship, that I feel like we are on different levels, and because somebody has self-appointed. But I'm not saying that they're not there. I agree that, and it feels almost like sorority, like high school.
It is.
Nonsense.
Actually, it's something like that. Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
But they're very cunning and very clever. You only get to see it much later. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. With little self-awareness, it can really catch you unawares.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the green flags.
Okay.
Green flags. Shall I go fast? I'll start with one that I had actually talked about last week, and that is communication. Do not have expectations without communicating. So for me, a green flag is when a friend communicates clearly what they expect from me. And it doesn't have to be like rules or whatever, but it can be in small doses. So for example, if they have something that they need me to attend, just communicate clearly, I need you to blah, blah, blah. Are you able to do that for me? Communication is important. And even as you communicate, a good friend also understands that the communication, especially where they're requesting you to do something, the answer can be a yes and it can be a no, and it's still okay. So I think just that having that open communication to me is really, really important, and it's something that I'm embracing more now, because I realized that in my past friendships that I've lost, that I wasn't communicating properly what I need or what I expect from my friends. So that is a green flag for me.
Okay. Well, I'll say one that's not that different. For me, it's etiquette. I call it appreciation.
Okay.
I mean, if I propose something and you can't do it or you can't make it for whatever reason, I think it's basic etiquette to just say I can't make it.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. Or even suggest some other time, or just say I really don't feel like doing that. It's not my kind of thing. You see, you spoke, you said something.
Yeah.
Silence at that point for me, I don't know. Maybe I'm sensitive, but for me, it just comes off the wrong way. Especially when it happens now, and then it happens the next time, then the next, and the one after that.
Yeah.
You see? When it becomes a pattern, I may be wrong, but for me, silence at that point means you actually don't care to come for it and don't even care how I feel, that you don't come and don't say anything.
I was going to ask actually before, like when you were talking about it, I was going to ask, why do you think that some friends don't communicate or don't give feedback or don't, RSVP to like an event? Why do they, okay, because it comes out. As the recipient, you receive it as they don't care. But are there reasons why a friend would not be communicating?
I feel like if it happens, it can happen once or twice when your life is very busy and there's a lot of things. But for me, it would still be an expectation.
Yeah.
That at the point you realize, you say, gosh, I can't believe I never, responded to this. I'm really sorry. I couldn't have made it or whatever. Because a friend of a certain level, when you're invited for something like that,
Yeah.
you see, it's not lightly. It's not just throwing it in the air. So you need to say something, speak up.
Yeah.
For me, that one just boils down to etiquette. There are some people who just don't think much about it.
Yeah.
They're not going to come and they won't say anything. But they're actually, there's no malice, but they just didn't think much about it.
Yeah.
For me, it's a deal breaker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a deal breaker.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right. My second green flag is that my friend talks about her or his other friends with respect. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, because that just tells you then in that case, in a different setting where you're not there and they're talking to their friends about you, that conversation is held in, high standards or high regards. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's true. I'm almost scared of saying. I mean, we all have different friends. I have a bunch of crazy friends who will say bad things, and for sure when you're not there, they'll say bad things. But it's not bad things in a bad way. It's just bad in a crazy sort of way. I don't know how I can.
I don't understand.
It's not negative.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's just the way they express themselves.
Yeah.
You see, say for example, I have a friend who just can't shut her mouth to save her life.
Yeah, she has no filter.
She'll speak to anyone about anyone. And I know for sure when she goes to the next person, she talks about me. For some reason, it doesn't affect me, really.
I mean, if it doesn't affect you, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you already have an understanding. It's not a pain point. I think then that works. The problem comes in if they say something out of malice or whatever.
Yeah.
If they're just saying it, and maybe even if it's a bad thing and it's true and you don't mind, then that's fine. If you mind, then it's a problem. Yeah.
Okay. My second green flag is low pressure, low expectation.
Yeah, preach, girl.
Yeah. As soon as you start feeling anxious and, the pressure to look like this or to do like that or to dress like this or to, that's not a friend.
Yeah.
That's not a friend. That's not a friendship. You don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Friendship is in such a, say for example, my culture, I shouldn't walk into someone's house with nothing in my hands.
Yeah.
It's just the way we're brought up. You carry something.
Yes.
It's polite. But my friend should be in such a way that the one day I wasn't able to carry anything.
It's okay.
No pressure. There's nothing. I'll walk in and say, by the way, I'm just as I am. And what I expect as an answer is, it's okay, really.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Yes.
That's a green flag. I think the more you feel like yourself around someone,
yes,
that's a green flag.
I mean, I'm just gonna add on to my next one because I think it is very related. Because I say they feel safe. Your nervous system, physically, you feel safe in their presence. Like you can be yourself. You don't feel like you're acting or need to put up a show. It feels safe. I think that's really important because when you feel like that, then you're not feeling like you're not meeting expectations and stuff like that. So I think that's really, 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 really important.
It is.
Yeah.
Maybe it moves on to my my last a red flag. No.
Green. Yeah.
Green flag. Friends who there's no judgment.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen people who, when you confide something, like you say, "Oh, I did that. I'm ashamed. Like I'm not proud of myself." Then they kick you when you're down. How could you have done that?
Yeah.
Surely, that's not a friend.
Yeah.
But you have this caliber of friends who go, "Wow, what happened?" Okay, and then they might even tell you a worse story that they did to make you feel better, or they might say, "Hey, I cannot judge you. Like I can understand how that can happen or something." I feel like when you do find the one friend who you can tell even the things you feel are the worst things, that you've done that would put you in such bad light.
Yeah.
But you know for sure that this is a safe place. This is the one person who's going to stay. What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, it automatically becomes their problem.
Their problem.
Then you're fortunate enough to have a friend like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a true friend.
I agree. Yeah, that safe space has to come with no judgment. It has to come with no judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think I have two more. So I'll start with they're okay with you doing things without them. I think this ties with being able to have another group of friends, and they're okay with that. They're not threatened. So for me, that's important, and vice versa. Like, I would be okay with her or him hanging out with like another group of friends without me. And it's okay, especially if it's things that I don't enjoy, then really, and they enjoy, because, you know, we could share a few things in common, but there are a few things that we might enjoy and I might enjoy and they don't enjoy, and vice versa. So, yeah. And then last but not least, they respect boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's a big one.
That's a big one. Let's get into it a little bit. So what do boundaries look like in friendship? I think the first one is one, expecting that your friend, you know, will be there or say yes to what you ask for, but also respecting a no. Yeah. Without compromising the friendship.
Yes, I think also like a connection. When you have a good connection, then you can tell when someone is not able to help you or to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Then it is coming from a point of, you know, genuineness.
Yes.
And it is important that you respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. What other boundaries do you think are important in friendship?
I feel like, you see, when you're friends, just because you're friends, and obviously that means you have stuff in common, doesn't mean you have everything in common.
Yes.
There will be things you don't have in common.
Yes.
And respecting that is important. Yeah. And just being able to listen to what someone is saying, because it's easy to judge based on where you're from, the filters you've come with, but then being able to listen to them and hear where they're coming from and actually understanding. I think it's at a very high level of empathy. For example, I had this one friend who came from a very, very poor background, and it really informed the choices she made in life, which I never used to understand.
Right.
And so eventually when you look at this whole picture and you're like, wow, like there is no way I can internalize what this person went through. And there is no way I can understand some of the decisions she makes.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's in any relationship, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's very important to just be able to respect the boundaries.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, especially in female friendships, those lines can be blurry.
They can.
They can be blurry. So it's really important, especially where you're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm doing this with my friend. That's an automatic yes. Don't assume. It's not an automatic yes, you know, or, you know, so I think, in your even space, I've seen female friendships where one friend lives literally in the other person's house because they're always in their space. I feel like even physical boundaries and even space, you don't need to be with the person or talk every day. If it works for you, then fine. But sometimes, like for a healthy relationship, a good amount of space is healthy. Okay, so I know you had one that
it's orange.
It's orange.
Yes.
Yeah, just share that.
So this is orange. It's interesting. I have met like one or two people in my life, my friends, who expect a lot, you know? The expectations are so high, but they also give a lot.
Okay.
Like everything they expect, they would give.
Yes.
So I learned how to just accept them like that and know that that's how they are.
But are you able to give as much?
Yes, and especially
without feeling
with the knowledge that they would do the same. Yeah, I think for me that's when you have such high expectations, but you wouldn't give the same. For me, that's a red. But if that's just how you see it, and you also would give just the same, as long as it's something within my realm, then I think
that's
okay.
Where I was going to.
Yeah.
What if you have the intention of giving, but you cannot match up their giving? because you can't, not because you won't, because you can't.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But for these ones, it was fine. It was doable. And I suppose that's why we stayed friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, I have a few points that I feel like most people would call green flags, but I feel like they have a really thin line between green and red. And the first one is, the way they say, oh, I want my friend to take me as I am, or I take my friend as as she is, I take my friends as they are. I mean, it sounds cute and all, but I feel like it has a potential of being red. And this is what I mean. One of the reasons why, you want good, solid friendships is so that you can become a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is, being around people who keep you accountable. So taking you as you are is a good thing, yes, but what happens if they're not challenging you?
Or calling you out.
Or calling you.
When you're clearly
Exactly,
out of line.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I think also for me, I really, really respect friends who can call me out.
Yes.
Who are not scared of being unpopular.
Yes.
With me.
Yeah.
They'll just go like, there, you're the one who's wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I think that for me is a green, but red.
I feel like also the people who facilitate alcoholism, for example, is in the same category.
I had that as enabling.
Enabling, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so people who enable bad behavior.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the alcoholics I've spoken to, they'll say there was an enabler, the one who gave the money, or the one who kept picking them up when they were, dead drunk.
And considered them friends, good friends, tight, good
sometimes
friends.
Even relatives, but friends. Until the one day they stopped. And then they let it break, and then you realize there's a problem. So at that point, that green flag is a red flag. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I had on the list is a friend who puts you on a pedestal. Listen, it's okay for a friend to think of you highly, right? But I think that can come with pressures of you have to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And low self-esteem on their part.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. Could be.
Yeah.
But I even wasn't looking at it from that perspective. I hadn't seen it from that perspective. And yes, that's true. But then for me, I'm like, that is really a lot of pressure. Because in their eyes, you're supposed to be there, be perfect, be, all these things. It's a lot of pressure to have somebody there. So yeah, even for me, sometimes when I hear somebody saying, oh yeah, they're my best friend, they blah, 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 I'm like, it's not really a good thing. It's not a good thing to have somebody on a pedestal. Yeah.
Especially if you're the one on the pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't work much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other points or anything that you want to say about friendships as we close today's video?
I think for me, the biggest part about friendships, just like with any other relationships, is just connections. Sometimes you can have friends that people don't understand. They don't get where you meet or how you're friends. They don't understand it, but you do. The two of you do. And sometimes you can have friends who are so unlike you.
Yes.
But yet they're such good friends of yours.
That's true.
I think connection is everything.
Absolutely.
Just the ability for the two hearts to connect.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think that's a big one where friendships are concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think just to add on to that is that, sometimes when you talk about friendships, we talk about strangers you've met in your life and have become your friends, right? I've also learned that sometimes you can actually build friendships even within family. Because sometimes we are very keen on looking for friends out there. Sometimes they're just people within your family who serve two different or wear two different hats in your life. They're a relative and they can be friends as well. I think it's just that unique connection that you're talking about. Before we close this, I want us to talk about something. Friendships, friendships in connection to relationships. Where do you place you're very good friends in relation to your spouse? How do you balance? I know a lot of people who struggle with this. I know this is not red or green, but I felt like it's really important for us to address that today in today's video. I know, I know a situation where, as like a good girlfriend, you're able to share with them everything. And sometimes even it's a lot more than what you can tell your spouse. Is that healthy? Is that a green flag or a red flag?
That's tricky.
Yeah. What do you think?
That's quite tricky, I would say. I feel like with girlfriends you share a lot, and girls can share details,
right?
Especially in dating life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like someone has not become serious; it's just a thing.
Yeah.
And you're sharing quite a bit. I think as it becomes serious, it's almost as if allegiances shift.
Yes.
And then you start, relating with the guy more than your friend.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'm an authority there, to be honest.
No, me too.
They advise you that your best friend should be your spouse.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. Actually,
Yes.
that's a great thing. But then, I don't know. If you have a friend who you share a lot, it's complicated. It's complicated. I think you just played... it's a case-by-case situation.
Yeah.
There are some friends who are okay. They listen to details and they advise you properly even. They help you. And then there are others who, not helping.
Not helping at all.
Yeah, it becomes a point of jealousy sometimes.
Yes.
It can also just become a point of friction. Or just, bad advice that's messing up your relationship.
Yes.
On this side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it's just healthy, but then your partner, knows that your friend knows a lot?
And it's a problem for him?
Maybe, possibly. Or what if they just know? Maybe it's not. Would that be okay? Is that healthy?
I think that's a very, very tricky. It's a rock and a hard place. Who are you meant to be giving up now?
Yeah.
Who should you be giving up?
Should it even be a choice?
Should it even be a choice?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a tricky one. I don't have an answer, but I'll just tell you this. Like, I found myself in a situation with, somebody I was seeing, and they felt like one of my friends was getting maybe a deeper version of me than they did. Like and it's the same way you're saying girls share a lot. I've seen on different occasions some pastors say that the lady's brain works like a bowl of spaghetti. So it's a lot of things. Like it's in detail and it's all connected. Guys are simple. It's like little boxes. It's just one topic and that's it. Another topic and that's it. So it's because of the way we are natured, or we are, the way we are as women, it's easier to connect with another woman because you'll throw in all your emotions and you'll get in there in terms of depth, right? You might not be able to achieve that. It could be the same topic, but you might not be able to achieve that with your partner because of that emotion, right? And so they might feel like maybe they're not experiencing you at that level.
Yeah. I think it's the woman, you have to be very clever. Because it would be a shame if you lose either one of them.
I know, right.
You really have to do a proper balancing act.
Yeah.
To make sure that you maintain the two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing that I have learned along the way that I'm now trying to, put in my, or just practice in my friendships is that even if I'm dating somebody, I don't share everything, even if it's with my best friend. Because I learned that, especially with romantic relationships, you move on, you feel the emotions every day, you grow with them. Your friends get stuck on what you left them or what you told them last. They're not there to grow with you. So for example, if you were complaining about something or you shared something that was making you unhappy in a relationship that was easy to resolve, and then you resolve, you go through that every day because you're in that relationship. Your friend is not.
Yeah.
So sometimes they find it hard to reconcile.
Yeah.
So I really am doing I've decided to just be a bit more cautious. And if it's really something that I can solve with the person I'm dating, and it's not a problem, then I'm not going to bring it up with my friend. Yeah.
I hear you. Because they're not in there.
Yeah.
And that's why they advise, especially married women in weddings.
Yeah.
And they say, don't go to share with your friends.
Yeah.
Solve a problem here.
Yeah.
Because for the same reasons you're saying.
Yeah.
That is what gets stuck in the friend's mind.
Yes.
And maybe you already resolved it here.
Yeah.
Then your friend is still dragging you back and
exactly.
saying, hey, don't do this.
Yeah. And your friend loves you, right? So whatever feeling they feel. So for example, if you're feeling betrayed or hurt, they're going to feel hurt because they love you. So that feeling will be so deep. And then for you, it's easy because it's a different type of love. It's a romantic love. So it's easy to forgive. It's easy to move on. While them, they're stuck hurting for you as their friend.
Yes. Over something that happened before.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good one. Yeah, so we are still continuing with this friendships journey. I think we have one more episode before we close this topic. And I really hope you enjoyed today's conversation. As usual, we'd like to hear from you. What has been your journey with friends? What have you seen as a red flag? What have you seen as a green flag or even an orange flag? Please share your experiences. We'd love to hear from you. The comment section is open as usual. And until next time, bye.
As you fade away.